You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. You can visit the Glebe Central Pub in the heart of the Glebe, 779 Bank Street. And when you head there, let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. You can also buy your tickets to the Sens shuttle on their website. Go find it, glebecentralpub.com. I'm Ross Levitan with The Martian. Following a Senators win, Ottawa snaps its 3-game losing streak in Pittsburgh. They took out the air horn and they sent everybody to the exits early with 2 goals in a matter of seconds in the third period. First, it was Brady Tkachuk, and 31 seconds later, Drake Batherson made it 5-1. Jake Guentzel gets a garbage goal, but 5-2 is the final score. Martian, your immediate reaction following that 60-minute effort?
I love it, Ross. We're back. You know, a nice W for the boys there. So they needed that. They needed that terribly. And I'm really happy to see them get that done. So I love it.
Oh, it's so good. And how it started early. The Senators, by the way, have scored first in 6 out of their 8 games this season. But it was the way they did it. The power play, yeah, it's produced, but not to the percentage it's needed to with how many opportunities they'd had in games past. It was their only goal, albeit they had less chances than they had in the last handful of games. But great to see Greig get on the board, his second goal of the year. But this pass, I mean, Claude Giroux has like a 5-centimeter window where he can put that to get the perfect tip to go upstairs, and he hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing there when he's placing that shot just for Greig to get that deflection, and he makes no mistake. That's a friggin' great tip, Ross, right behind his own back kind of deal, and it just goes top corner. So Ridley, great finish on that one. He was fired up after that one, as was I.
Oh, it was so good to see. And then they carried that momentum. Brady Tkachuk came to play tonight. I mean,
that was captain. There was captain shit all over the place. He was running the show there today. That's for sure.
He makes it 2-1. He scores the second goal. The game is 5th of the season, team leading 5th of the season. This was just a beautiful passing play all around, Martian, all the way back to Tyler Clevin. It was like a pivot backhand feed up the side, then a one-touch by Timmy, spinorama to the middle. Giroux settles it down as a wily veteran should and finds a perfect seam to Brady Tkachuk, chugging on down the wing. Now, he was about as surprised as anybody that it got past Tristan Jarry on the glove side, but they all count. You got to put pucks on net. Brady's done that for years, and this one goes in. Ultimately, I guess it wasn't the game winner because they got that garbage goal at the end, but it certainly set the tone, giving Ottawa a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, that was like the placement of the shot was really the key on that one too. And obviously that pass by Giroux, having that little bit of a delay to allow Brady to get that extra speed that he needed to get, past the defenseman and kind of get himself a little bit on his own there. But that shot, Ross, was awesome, man. Like, he knows he's got a tough angle and he just kind of just places it perfectly low glove side and it finds its way in squeaky area. That's easier said than done, I think, for that kind of shot.
And if you're watching us live on YouTube after every Ottawa Senators game, you can find us on Locked On Senators YouTube. The Corsi numbers are out of control in favor for Pittsburgh. That's shot attempts for at 5-on-5. And there's one reason for it, Martian. I know the Senators took a garbage time shot with 4 seconds left in the period, a bit above muffin. If they hadn't taken that measly attempt, the Brady Tkachuk goal was their only shot in the last 14 minutes of the period. So it's not how many, it's what you do with your chance.
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't a great start for Ottawa. I didn't feel like in this game. Like in the first period, I think they got outshot 18-6 or 18-7. It was very lopsided, and Pittsburgh was controlling the play, but the Sens were in the first period
22-7.
22-7, so even worse than I thought. But yeah, the Sens were just the ones capitalizing on all of their chances, and Korpisalo was really hanging in there nicely for Ottawa to keep them, from allowing any goals at that time.
Want to talk about Korpisalo right now?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
He was awesome.
He was.
He scares me when he plays the puck.
He's so bad playing the puck. It's
a little Craig Anderson. My next note after the 2 goals is saying, my next note after the 2 goals is, oh my goodness, did he ever bail out Brady, who put a Lassie Thompson-esque pizza right up the middle, and what a save. No rebound. I was like, that's the type of save that just calms everything down. He had 2 of those in the second period. He did it as well after that power play, and I want to get into it a bit more. But the Crosby cross check on Giroux, Ottawa didn't generate much on that power play, And then play came the other way. And it would have been like if they get it back at that point, it's 3-1 with still plenty of time left. They ultimately get it a couple minutes later when Crosby scored backdoor. But I think it was Shea. I've never even heard of this guy, defenseman. He just walked right down the middle and Korpisalo just snagged it out of the air. Like, that's the type of save that just gives your whole team that deep breath. Like, okay, we can trust you.
I love his desperation saves too. Isn't it hilarious the way he ends up on his back and he's sprawling and his arms and legs are flailing and he's doing the splits and he's on his back and but he keeps the puck out of the net somehow sometimes with those. So this was a nice game for Korpisalo because I feel like he really needed to rebound after the last couple performances that he's had.
He was good against the Islanders. That one you get goalied, but you're going up against Ilya Sorokin at the other end. But he still made 35 saves on 38 shots. But this one, it's like, how can you play well but also get the result? And that's what he got tonight. Korpisalo now 3-2 on the year. Looks so much better than 1-4. I mean, if they can't win this game, all of a sudden it's like full panic mode. He's probably got like an 870-ish save percentage if they lose this game. But instead, he's one of the stars, and he's also one of our options. We put up a poll every time now when we start, and this fire helmet is by far the best MVP prop they have had yet. By far. It's not even close. I would love to get my hands on one. If anyone knows, make that happen because they look so sweet. And who's going to get it tonight? Josh Norris has it right now. He obviously had the 2 goals in his first game of the season against Washington. I don't know if there's any dust or debris on the helmet. It's been 3 games. It's been a while. This is the 4th game. Who gets it? Who's your choice? Because the 4 options we put down, Joonas Korpisalo, Brady Tkachuk, Claude Giroux, or Wright-in. The Wright-in's actually tied with Claude Giroux. Let me start there, and then we'll get the results and choose. But if it was someone outside of those 3, the 2 goals by Brady, the 2 assists for Giroux, and we discussed the 40-save performance for Joonas Korpisalo, outside of that trifecta, who's your 4th guy tonight that deserves some stick taps?
For me, it's easily Ridley Greig. I think he's just starting to really look like he's settling in as an NHL player. He's leading rookies in scoring currently, so that's always a good thing. He had 2 points tonight, a goal and an assist. Obviously, we talked about that nice deflection already. For me, it's Ridley Greig. I think he had a nice game. I think he's one of those guys that I think that his teammates will look to as a guy who deserves some recognition after a game like tonight.
I'm going to go with Tim Stützle because I've been hard on him. I've been wanting him to take over games. And as Jay Munchin says, it was quietly collecting 2 points. But at the same time, I do think he held his own with Sidney Crosby in this game. And I thought that they went up head-to-head. I'd love to know the actual number at 5-on-5, how many times they went up. If you guys can share that with me in the comments, that would be great. But I feel like he went head-to-head with Crosby and did just fine.
Yeah, he was all over the puck tonight too. I felt like I know everybody's been on him for the way he's been falling down and complaining with referees tonight, lately. But he stayed out of the box tonight. He didn't get in any trouble that way. And he was playing a strong physical game. I thought for the way Timmy plays, and his stick handling is always really good, and he was making plays out there. Ross, those 2 assists were both really nice. That place shot for the Tkachuk second goal, which obviously Brady finished off extremely well. But that shot was well thought out, I think. Like, Timmy could have shot that thing anywhere. He could have tried to score himself, but that's not what he tried to do. He clearly put it low to the left side on that blocker side. And he basically set Brady up to get that puck right from the start.
Sens top line was out there for 2 goals for, none against tonight at 5-on-5. And they actually attempted their opposition 15-13 in almost 12 minutes of action. So when you look at the first period, it was really that Norris, Batherson, and Tarasenko line that was getting filled in. They had 5 shot attempts for and 23 against tonight in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. So that line, maybe a work in progress. Batherson moving over to left wing for the first time this season. I thought Kubalik had his best game. We should give him some.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We were joking around, right, about him not wanting the puck on his stick. I think there's something with your mic, by the way. Let's take a peek at that. There's a bit of an echo. But when it comes to Kubalik, it's impressive to see how he didn't even do the one-timer, Martian. Like, maybe just take it off and go with the.
It was the 2-touch.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he gets it and then just puts it home. So good on Dominik Kubalik to make that happen. And I thought he had a decent effort, right? He played 16 minutes. That's got to be, if not then right near the most he's played in a single game with Ottawa. So, yeah, good to see him get his first point, get a goal.
Yeah, the Dom. It's the Dom bomb, Ross. That's what we call it now. The Dominik bomb, the Dom bomb. We know the Tom bomb, but this is the Dom bomb.
Yes, please. We got to replace the Tom bomb because I don't know if that's ever going to be a sustainable element at the NHL level. The Senators get a 5-2 win. They're back at 500 on the season. 4 wins, 4 losses, and now 4 days off. The Sens will take on the LA Kings next Thursday. We still have Sens Central standouts to get to. We have intermission news from Elliot Friedman. That's yesterday's news today, if you listen to the streets. But first, let me tell you a quick word about our friends at the Glebe Central Pub. They're the exclusive local partner of the Postcast for Locked On Senators. The Glebe Central Pub is right in the heart of the Glebe, 779 Bank Street. And when you send there, you can also expect to have a great time. You can go there for dart night. You can go there for live music, open mics. I was talking to one of the owners and they were talking about they had speed dating night that was a hit. So they always have something going on at the Glebe Central Pub. Get down there and get your Sens shuttle tickets, $17 round trip to and from the CTC. You're not going to find a better deal than that. $17 round trip to and from the CTC from our friends at the Glebe Central Pub. So go visit them, 779 Bank Street in the heart of the Glebe. The Postcast is also brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook. I have the pleasure of saying that Pilsey's parlay of the day, in which he took the Penguins money line, was wrong. So way to go, Pilsey. Parlay of the day is now 3-5. Still pretty impressive, though, on the season. And if you want to get into FanDuel responsibly, go over to FanDuel.com. Right now, new customers in the U.S. get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking of joining FanDuel, no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. A wide range from spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and get into the action. It's the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. All right, we are here after a 5-2 Senators win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm Ross Levitan alongside The Martian, and our goal to everyone, all 350 of you citizens in the chat, is a photo of Pilsey dressed up as Harry Potter tonight for his Halloween party. We missed Pilsey on the Postcast. He had a couple hard L's that the two of you had to break down. But here I am with my cape, breaking down another win, Martian.
You're undefeated. It's unbelievable, Ross.
First game of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, your track record so far on the Postcast is pretty nice. You should not be envying me and Pilsey having to break down 5-2 losses and 5-4 losses where they're down 5-1 2 periods. And, it's been tough sledding for us on the Postcast without you, Ross. So hopefully you can make yourself available more because it seems to be going in the Sens' favor when you're here.
Waldron mentioning that it's nice to see us not sitting in the dark again tonight, but Postcast After Dark is coming. You got to stay tuned for that.
Tuned.
After every Postcast, we're going to do it after dark because we want the audio listeners. A lot of it's for commutes, right? Yeah, maybe Saturday is not the best example for that. But if you have your commute, we don't want you to have a 45-minute show when we know Locked On Senators podcast coming out that day as well. So the bonus, like interactive stuff all season long, we're going to do after a 30-minute proper Postcast where we break down what happens in the game and get to our Sens Central standouts, which I think we should do now. Our Sens Central standouts after a 5-2 Sens win in Pittsburgh in a game that the Senators led from start to finish. Well, since the 4-minute and 24 second mark where Ridley Greig scored his second goal of the season. Martian, we pretty much did a team effort today on our Sens Central standouts because there's not the three of us. We got the 3 spots in the card. So let's just pull them up, and I want you to go 1 through 3. Why are these the 3 guys who led the way for the Sens?
Oh, you want me to go through all 3 of them here? Okay, yeah. Well, my first selection there was Brady Tkachuk. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier. He was doing his thing. That's captainship right there. And when he goes out there and he sets the tone in the game, and he's getting involved and he's making plays down low. 2-goal effort tonight for Brady. Obviously, that first one we obviously talked about as well, where he made that nice placement shot. But that second goal, Ross, those hands in front of the net after Tim Stützle takes that nice low shot, he makes 2 or 3 little stick handle moves and then gets it to his backhand and fires it up there. That was a goal scorer's goal, and Brady was feeling it tonight. So he was an obvious standout for us here. 16-27 on the ice. So not a ton of ice time. I think that's, right around a little bit below his average, I feel like, but he was effective while he was out there. And then same thing for Claude Giroux. And this is a guy who the last couple games has looked incredible, right, Ross? Like the plays, same thing, man. Like he just makes plays. Every time he gets the puck, he doesn't give it away. He finds one of his teammates. He is constantly communicating with guys on the bench and on the ice. So him tonight with those 2 assists, 2 really nice ones, and then the 5 shots on goal +2, 16:39 time on ice.
And not only that, Martian, and I wish that the NHL app and everything could figure itself out, because I'm really getting sick and tired of not being able to click on the advanced stats in the game, because I love looking at the face-off summary every game, because I know that Claude Giroux went 67% in the dot. I want to know how many times he beat Sidney Crosby, because he was going up against him head-to-head quite a bit in the dot. Obviously frustrated him enough to take that cross-checking penalty in the second period, but I feel like he just had his way with that battle. He was in Sid's head all night.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like him and Sidney Crosby have had this rivalry with each other. Obviously, when Giroux was part of the Flyers, they were playing the Penguins all the time. Same state, big rivalry, and him and Sid would go head to head, and there was a massive hatred there. And I believe this hatchet may have been buried since. I think there's a story that's been out there about them being on Team Canada together, and the other teammates making them sit together for a lunch so that they could basically bury the hatchet for the tournament while they were, in the Olympics. But Claude Giroux versus Sidney Crosby, I'll take Claude all day long. He is such a pesky guy. I feel like, Crosby, there's a certain way to get him rattled, and whatever it is, Claude has it mastered. And obviously that penalty was a prime example of Claude Giroux just being able to totally get in Sidney Crosby's kitchen, and obviously drawing that penalty was perfect.
One of only a few penalties tonight, which was a nice change from what we've seen over the last couple of games. Ottawa went 1 for 3 on the power play, and Pittsburgh went 0 for 2, and there was no 4-on-4 coincidental penalties. It was a pretty evenly matched game from the official standpoint of letting guys play. And wouldn't you look at that, I felt like this game had a pretty good amount of flow to it. So hopefully we get to see more of that as officials also settle in to the speed of the game and the season in itself. So just a well-played game tonight. Obviously, Ottawa was on the ropes in the first period, but we're able to hang on and then take advantage when it struck. We didn't even mention Tristan Jarry got pulled in this game after 25 minutes. He allowed 6 goals on 9 shots. Magnus Hellberg, he of 100% win certainty when playing in Ottawa, 1-0, gets 15 saves on 17 shots. And I didn't even think about tweeting out the record of former Sens goalies playing against Ottawa. So I think that in itself means that I've grown as a person. Yeah. The Senators have, because they're not being stonewalled by Robin Leonard, Brian Elliott, and Craig Anderson anymore. Maybe that's why I haven't done it, Pilsy or Martian, because all 3 of those guys are out of the league.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I think we can pretty much put that one away. I hope in the recent past, I believe that the Sens have done quite well against their former goalies. So hopefully that's not one you have to keep bringing up.
No. I've almost deleted.
Oh, you have it. You have it loaded.
No. I don't think I'm going to use it anymore.
Okay.
There has to be because I get tweets every time.
Yeah.
Here's the it was bad. I think it was like 4 regulation wins in 34 games.
Oh, it was really bad. I know.
So yeah, we got to clean that up as well.
I don't think it applies though when a guy comes in relief after the other goalie gets tugged. At that point, it's the Sens are winning. So,
what else stood out to you from this game, Martian?
I talked about really Greig. I think Jake Sanderson is just another guy you can always bring up in almost every situation. Saw some people in the chat saying that, this is a guy who deserves a little credit. So I'll go with Jake Sanderson again. He had I got to assume he had a massive amount of ice time. Let me look quick. 25. So almost 26 minutes, 25:58 for him.
If the NHL app wasn't broken, I could break that down into by periods for you. But I know he played over 9 minutes in the first.
Yeah, and especially on the Travis Hamonic goal, you notice like it was a really good shift in general by that first line before Jake Sanderson took control. But when he did, he skated around the entire zone, carried it behind the net and around, and then he made that pass to Travis Hamonic for the one-timer, which ended up going in the net. So obviously Jake Sanderson's going to be massively important, even more than before now that Shabbat's out. So if he can keep playing like this, I'm feeling much better about how things are going to go for them while missing Shabbat.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get into that in the after dark. If not, Pilsy and I'll break that down on Monday's Locked On Senators, what the decor is going to look like going forward. Because, yeah, once it got to 4-1 and then 5-1 31 seconds later, then the ice time opened up a little bit. You saw Matt and Paolo and Clevin get a couple extra shifts. But at the end of the day, this was a 4-defenseman game. And Martian, I know you've been tough on Jacob Bernard-Docker, but this was his best game of the year easily. Playing over 21 minutes +2. I know he took a penalty that we didn't love. It was delay a game where he just kind of panicked and flipped it over the boards, but he was tasked to step up tonight time-wise, and I thought he did an adequate job of it for sure.
Yeah, the best thing about that for me is that you barely noticed him tonight, and that's a good sign, especially with a defensive style defenseman like him. So not noticing a player who's playing defense is a good thing.
And I'm not going to act like there's sweeping, specifics that we can put in for Matt and Paolo or Clevin's game because they played so little. But I did notice that they were being hard in front of their own net, pushing guys out of the way. And that's what Ottawa's going to need. They've got the skill guys on the back end. And oh my goodness, what was your reaction when Chychrun takes that shot right in the oblique? I was like,
oh my God. Yeah, that's Panic City. Because if you lose him, things are definitely not going to be good. But yeah, you need him to stay healthy and thank God he was able to shake that off.
What's a dumber rule? And Michael Chesterman in the chat kind of making my brain tick on this one. The delay of game penalty of flicking the puck over the glass or the offside review when the goal's like 30 seconds later.
Ooh, I got to go with the offside review. I think the delay of glass one makes sense. You throw it over the boards and
all good. I knew you were going to say that one, but I think it's the other one, man. I think that, you think the offside review is worse? Yeah. That's where I would have gone to. I think that the delay of game one's more frustrating. You think? Actually, I don't know. They both suck. Get them both out of the game. Let us know in the comments because you know what? That's worth a poll because hey, the poll that we've got running right now, it's not even close. Right? It's not even close.
Oh, okay. Who's got?
It's not even close. It's a goalie friendly show. 40 saves. Let's go. Korpi's got 80% of the vote. Brady Tkachuk has 11. Claude Giroux has 5. And Other has 3. But Martian, you know why? I think it's pretty, clear that it's Joonas Korpisalo. This was the first game that a Senators goalie has played consecutive games all year. So the boys in the locker room are going to rally around that and be like, okay, we want someone to grab the bull by the horns. Forsey was great in his first 2 games, not so much in the last one. I think Korpi gets it tonight.
Okay, I like that choice. Yeah, I think the boys got to give him that vote of confidence too. So I kind of slept on the idea of giving it to Korpisalo there, but I think I'm with you now, Ross.
Okay, so we're ending that poll and we're putting up the other one that's kind of put a B in both of our bonnets because both of them happened tonight, right? JBD takes that penalty for delay of game puck over the glass, but then take me through your thoughts. Like this one, I know it was so far down, but I love when a 2-on-1 then creates extended zone time. How awesome is that? Where they miss on the initial chance, but then everyone's flying around, crisp passes, and that's what happened. Ultimately, Ottawa does put the puck in the back of the net, but it gets called back on that entry. Brady Tkachuk maybe a millimeter offside. It looked pretty close, at least from the angles we got, but I'm not throwing my arms up. I think it was offside at the end of the day.
Yeah, I actually noticed it on the entry itself, but I said, oh, crap, if they score here, it's going to end up being an offside review. And sure enough, that's what ended up happening. So I wasn't surprised at all when it came back. But yeah, I do love those, basically full pressure situations where they're able to, generate offense off of just like cycling the puck after a 2-on-1. It's beautiful.
It's so good, man. So that to me was a big part of this game. Is how was Ottawa going to respond after that no goal? And the next big play was Dominik Kubalik from Ridley Greig and Mathieu Joseph. And Ridley Greig, like right off the zone entry. Like he gets the puck from Matthew Joseph real quick. And then after that, bang. We get to see, a cross ice pass and Kubalik makes no mistake. So a huge night all around. I think one where Ottawa learned some lessons. It was far from perfect. And there's going to be a lot to discuss from this game. And with 4 days off, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think one game is going to change the entire likelihood of changes being made overall. So we'll leave it at that for tonight with a 5-2 victory for the Ottawa Senators. Martian's going to take old Hansel out. I'm going to stick with you after dark for a couple minutes because I want to discuss Elliot Friedman's report of the Evgeny Dadonov trade that still might not be over 2 weeks later. And then if Hansy's quick, Martian, you can jump back on. But we'll get some final thoughts from you. We'll get some final thoughts from you here after a 5-2 win.
Yeah, I'm just happy they won. I think, getting it back to 500 is important here. You can't let the season slip away from us early again. So it's important to keep trying to collect wins, especially with all these banged up bodies on the back end there for them. So for me, it's a great win. I'm very happy, and hopefully they can just, ride the momentum of this one and keep it going.
Next up, the Sens return home. They will play a lot of home games coming up, but it's a national broadcast, aka broadcasters that they got a tough job to kind of keep their finger on the pulse of all 32 teams. But when they say, hey, the Senators play 13 of their next 15 at home, you know that they're not dialed in because 2 of those games are in Sweden. It's a little far from home. As Noodle said, that's not their home. There's a great one-liner he had when he came on a couple weeks ago. So the Senators are, though, returning home to play the LA Kings on Thursday, Tampa on Saturday, and then another 3-day break before they're taking on the first Battle of Ontario. But soak this one in, Sens fans. It's been a stressful couple days. Shane Pinto, 41-game suspension. Eric Brandstrom, long-term injury. Thomas Chabot, long-term injury. And now this news of Evgeny Dadonov potentially costing the Senators. I don't even want to say it's not Dadonov's fault, but the Ottawa Senators being punished for an administrative error, allegedly. But that's tomorrow's problem. And stay tuned for the postcast after dark. Let's get some Go Sens goes in the chat as we sign off after an Ottawa Senators 5-2 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins in a game. Joonas Korpisalo makes 42 saves in a game where the Sens get multi-point nights from all 3 members of their top line. 2 goals for Brady Tkachuk, 2 assists for both Tim Stützle and Claude Giroux. And heck, throw in a goal and an assist for Ridley Greig as well. I'm Ross Levitan with the Leams Martian, the postcast brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Go check them out, 779 Bank Street, right in the heart of the Glebe. Go visit them now and check out the Ottawa Senators shuttle bus. This is a project from the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, we've got the postcast after dark. Let Martian get out there and handle his business. But when I started seeing reports 2 days ago about this Dadonov thing, so we got to chat about it. So just with the information that we have, I figured I'd pop in and Martian told me what he knows as well. And I think the bottom line is you just have to hope that maybe there's some room for negotiation, because if it's a first round pick, I mean, people can let us know in the comments as well. But like, I don't know, seems a little much for me, based on what is it? Not telling the Vegas GM that he submitted his no trade clause. They've proven that he did submit it on time, so that's not a part of this. Obviously, he'd be an Anaheim Duck if it wasn't the case. But I mean, it worked out for all parties. He actually helped Vegas that spring. But it sounds like, yeah, maybe even a first round pick. And if that's the case, it sucks. And that's where the Martian heard from the streets that maybe there's a corresponding move as they got to have some accountability in terms of what happens in the front office. And yeah, Toxic Alchemist asking, why do we lose a first? This would basically be because the Senators did not disclose that Evgeny Dadonov had a no trade clause when he was moved to Vegas. So Vegas, and this is going back to the COVID year. It was the Nick Holden trade. That's how long ago. Nick Holden coming to Ottawa, not leaving. And Dadonov ends up in Vegas, gets traded at the deadline, but he's like, no, I don't want to go to Anaheim. By the way, having Newport Beach on your no trade clause, I get it though. He wants to win, but taxes suck there. But that to me was a little on the interesting side. But I look at this from a situation that isn't it kind of in the world of technology, kind of on them to just, shoot the agent a message and say, this guy, here's his no trade list. It's 10 teams long. You can't move him to any of these guys. Yeah. Yeah, I think Vegas is to blame for this. I really do. So it sucks. I get it from a standpoint of people who maybe have had enough of the management regime in Ottawa right now. But this one, I have trouble finding a way. And Elliot Friedman said during the second intermission that it was in all likelihood we'll get a full explanation at what's going to come or what made this case reopen. You might remember like 2-3 weeks after this initially broke, Elliot Friedman said there would be no punishment. Case closed. So like what reopened this and what's causing the Ottawa Senators to potentially lose a high draft pick? So yeah, I'm pretty curious here what's going to happen next. I see someone asked me to have another glass of water. I'm buzzing today. I was on the 4 a.m. shift to noon, came home, played beer league, got smoked. The other team had 18 players. We had 7. But anyways, not about me. It's about the Sens, and a 5-2 win tonight gets them back in the win column. If anyone wants to toss in a couple questions, feel free. Otherwise, I'll sign off. I'm still trying to figure out a picture of Pilsy. That'll probably happen on Monday, but I need to see this Harry Potter getup that he's got going here. So yeah, the Postcast after dark, and now it's even darker because Martian had to leave me. The streets didn't miss though, so I do have to kind of give him a little hat tip there. I know some people were being hard on him about Dadonov's situation, but guys dialed in. What can I say? Oh, we want the lights on? But this Postcast after dark, we don't like that? Bang. It's not even a big difference. It's light enough outside. We got all the snow here too. But anyways, I want to see the I didn't even put it in. That's brutal. That's on me. Delay of game over the glass. Let's get some quick results on this one here. And then let us know as well, because next week we want to make sure we're doing a mailbag every once in a while, because we love interacting with you guys. You guys have helped us out so much. I tweeted out today at Sens Central. This is the biggest year in Locked On Senators history, and we've still got 60 days left before the end of 2023. So that's a huge credit to you guys. That's why we stay on here extra. That's why we give you as much bonus content as we can. And also, this team never has a dull day. It really doesn't. From off-ice drama to on-ice and injuries, it's really a team that you could write a sitcom on and have a never-ending stream of content there. I guess I should finish this with maybe a more somber note. And to answer you, Jared, I don't know about Zub. You always have to be careful with those kind of, I don't want to call it a concussion because nobody has yet, but they've used the term dizzy. So you don't want to risk him coming back and not being 100%. I think that as tough as it might sound right now, you kind of have to ride with what you got and hope for the best for the next little while. As tough as that might sound. But yeah, I think Clevin and Matin Palos showed that they can play NHL minutes now, albeit they both played under 10 tonight. So we'll see how long that continues. But for now, I mean, they're coming home. They got 4 days off. And yeah, it's, Ferg's mentioned it. Don't talk about it. But we do have to give, our condolences to the family of Matthew Perry, the Friends actor, Chandler Bing. A lot of us grew up with the show Friends. And one of the claim to fame for Lisgar Collegiate Institute, where I went to high school, was that Matthew Perry went to school there, and multiple outlets reporting that he passed away tonight, far too young. And just condolences to him and his family. So I just wanted to say that here as well. It really, really sucks. Really sucks. So I hate to leave it on a somber note on a night where the Senators get a 5-2 win, but I do think it must be said. I mean, just a legend and a Hollywood legend, and a guy who, came back and was representing the Ottawa Senators as recently as last year when he came and was rocking the jersey and everything at a game. We're like, is he in an ownership group? What's going on? But no, he's just a fan. Just wanted to watch the game. You guys want to watch the game without offside reviews 30 seconds after the entry. I agree with that one. 84% of the vote is going with that. Only 17% now. Math guy. That means 83. We got a live counter going. Is only with delay a game over the glass. So lots Lots to discuss, not only on Monday on Locked On Senators, but this entire week. I would be shocked if we don't find out about this Dadonov situation in the next 24, 48 hours. And the Sens get home tomorrow with lots of practice time. So what does that mean? We'll follow every storyline, every in, every out. And we appreciate you citizens for making this as fun as it is. For tonight, though, we'll say goodbye. It's an early morning for me tomorrow. Get some rest, Sens fans. And I appreciate you joining us every night in the Postcast. And we couldn't do it without the Glebe Central Pub or the Locked On Podcast Network. So make sure you're supporting us by watching other shows. And also, you can also jump on the Patreon if you guys are interested in that. But for tonight, we say goodbye. It's a Saturday night. You've earned a few smiles, Sens fans, after the last week plus. Let's get some Go Sens Go in the chat. I'm Ross Levitan from Locked On Senators. Have a great rest of your weekend. We will talk on Monday when Pilsy returns. It's the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.